Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well folks, as promised, today's video is going to be dedicated to overseeding your lawn. And what we're going to do is walk you through the 5 primary steps of how to overseed your lawn and talk to you a little bit about some of the pitfalls that other customers of ours have fallen into over the years. But we are quite confident that if you follow these 5 steps to the letter, your overseeding is going to be a huge success. And come next spring, your lawn is going to look absolutely amazing. So buckle up everybody, let's jump right in. All right, so step number 1 is obviously killing the weeds. Guys, if we're gonna put down grass seed, we wanna make sure that that grass seed has as much room to grow as possible. And weeds are not only unsightly, but weeds are gonna rob your grass of some of the nutrition that it needs to grow healthy and strong. And weeds are gonna take up space. So again, when we're thinking about sowing new grass seed and making sure that it has all the nutrition it needs, the space that it needs to grow, eliminating weeds is priority number 1. So we recommend Fertilize Weed Beater Ultra. Now, you can go over to our lawn calendar and you'll see that this is the #1 weed killer that we recommend. However, you can go to the weed control section of rosensonline.com and you'll see that we offer a variety of weed killers. Now, whichever weed killer you choose to use, you gotta just be real careful about reading the label. One, we wanna make sure that there's nothing that talks about pre-emergent control. We don't want to use that particular weed killer that may have a pre-emergent component to it, because that's actually going to impact in a negative way the ability for the seed to properly germinate and grow. So we need just straight weed killers. This is going to be post-emergent control. So again, we have a number of products that are available. Again, we recommend Weed Beater Ultra. The other issue that you're going to want to look at is check the label and see how long after application you can effectively apply seeds. Now, with Weed Beater Ultra, you need to wait at least 2 weeks before you try and plant seeds. So again, that's really why mid-August we tell people this is the time that you need to start worrying about the weeds in your lawn and getting rid of those so that your lawn is really going to be able to start weed-free as best as possible, which is really going to help that new grass come in once we get that seed down. So step number 1, kill the weeds. All right, so step number 2 is putting down topsoil. Folks, we're putting down seeds, so we really need to make sure that there's some type of medium for this new seed to become established in, properly germinate and grow. And obviously putting down a fresh layer of topsoil is the easiest way to do that. Now, in terms of step 2, this is really where people may want to consider dethatching their lawn, or in some cases, even doing core aeration. Now, we've actually been getting some emails where people have been asking us, well, what's the difference between the two? What are the benefits of both, okay? Let's use an analogy. Let's say you've just mowed your grass and you're gonna go out and you're gonna rake up all of the clippings. To rake your grass is kind of like giving your lawn a little bit of a massage, right? Dethatching is going to be like a deep tissue massage. You're really going to get in there. You're really going to get down to where the roots or where the grass meets the soil, and you're going to be digging away some of that organic matter that has built up over the months or the years. You're going to pull away dead grass. You're going to be agitating the soil. And what that does is that's going to allow water and air and other nutrition to really get down into the soil and get to the roots a little bit faster. When you dethatch, you want to make sure that the grass is actively growing, because naturally when you're getting down that deep, you're actually going to be creating some natural bare spots in your lawn. And so again, when you think of overseeding, this is a great time to do it. So the grass is actively growing, you've agitated the soil, and you've made little channels and you've stirred up the soil enough where overseeding will allow that seed to become established a little bit faster. Again, core aeration, that's gonna be like your acupuncture, where you're actually gonna be going down into the soil, you're pulling up those little plugs. If you've ever seen it or driven by someone's yard who's had it done, you know, they're these little, like little core samples, you know, a couple inches long that have actually been pulled out. And what that does is that's actually like a very deep way of allowing water and airflow and nutrition and really to reduce the compaction of the soil. Again, this is a great process to do when you're overseeding, but again, it can get a little bit expensive depending on how large your yard is. So raking is like massage, dethatching is a little bit more like that deep tissue massage, and core aeration is, you know, again, gonna be, you know, like your acupuncture. All of those steps are good, but they're not all necessary for your overseeding process, again, depending on the overall condition of your lawn. At the very minimum, you need to get down some new soil, some type of growing medium that's gonna allow that seed to get established more quickly. So what we recommend, again, is putting topsoil down, and then once you put the seed down, you're actually gonna be able to rake it in, which is actually what we're gonna talk about in step number 3. All right, so let's talk about step number 3, which is obviously putting down the grass seed. Now, folks, you can use whatever seed you want, but we only stock one type of seed over at rosensonline.com, and that's Barenbrug Turf Saver RTF. The reason it's the only seed that we stock is because we feel that the Turf Saver RTF is simply the best grass seed on the market. This RTF grass is perfect for the conditions in the mid-Atlantic up into Pennsylvania and all, you know, even down into the Carolinas. It's a very durable grass. It has some drought resistance to it, some disease resistance. Again, it's all around just the best grass that we feel for the area, and that's why it's the only grass that we sell. Now, let's talk about application rates. Now, typically, if you're just seeding a new lawn, you're gonna put down 8 to 10 pounds of Turf Saver to help get it established. That's gonna be your application rate. However, we're overseeding and we're dealing with a lawn that's already established, and we need this new seed, again, to go in over top of it. So we actually wanna cut that rate in half. So we're gonna wanna put down 4 to 5 pounds of Turf Saver per 1,000 square feet. Now, as I kind of mentioned towards the end of step number 2, once you put it down at that rate, we really recommend that you take the time to actually kind of rake in and try and mix it in with the soil. Again, that's just gonna speed up the germination process a little bit better. It's gonna allow your seed to sprout a little bit sooner, for the roots to take a little bit better. So again, raking it in is an absolute must. So again, putting down the seed, raking it in, that's step number 3. So step number 4 is putting down turf trust. Now, for those of you who are familiar with turf trust, you know how much we love it here on this program. We think it's the best fertilizer on the market, bar none. However, when you're putting it down, you need to make sure that you're putting down the 24-2-12 professional starter formula. Do not use the maintenance. Maintenance is a great product, but the starter formula is specifically designed to be used for seeding, overseeding, and sodding. And the reason for that is it contains phosphorus. Now, some of you may even say, well, I don't think I can use phosphorus in my area. Look, if you're in Maryland or you're in Virginia, you are allowed to use phosphorus in your fertilizers as long as you're seeding or sodding. Overseeding obviously qualifies. So what you want to do is head over to Rosens Online and pick up a couple of bags of 24-2-12 Turf Trust Professional Starter Formula. Now, this is actually a really good time to kind of kick this off, but over at rosensonline.com, we have started our second annual fall feeding frenzy. Guys, this is 3 bags of Turf Trust. Again, it can be any kind of the fertilizer process, the starter or the maintenance, but since we're talking specifically overseeding, I'm gonna focus on the starter. But it's gonna be 3 bags of either the 10M or the 5M for a special price and free shipping. So again, when you think about what you need to feed your lawn this fall, you need an application around Labor Day, and you need your fourth and final application right around mid-November before it snows. So taking advantage of the fall feeding frenzy right now is going to save you a bunch of money because it's going to help you cover two fertilizations that you need. One coming up here around Labor Day, and then again one kind of mid-November. Going to depend a little bit on where you are in terms of when you want to put that down, but you want to get it down before the ground freezes. So again, the fall feeding frenzy is available over at rosensonline.com. It's going to be 3 bags of either the 10M or the 5M, and again, you can get it in the starter formula or the lawn maintenance formula, a low price and free shipping. Now, let's move on to step number 5. So the fifth and final step is putting down easy straw and watering. Now, this can be a little bit of a tedious process. The purpose of covering the grass seed really is to protect it. The sun's UV rays will kill seed within 2 or 3 days if it's not covered. So that's why it's so important to put some type of protection over top of the seed that you've just put down. Now, some of you will use regular straw, some of you may use leaf grow, some of you may even put down peat moss. We prefer easy straw because, first of all, it's 99% weed free, and that's a big deal. We just spent time trying to kill the weeds. We don't want to put more back in, so easy straw checks that box. Again, straw is a very traditional method of covering and protecting newly laid seed, but what makes easy straw a little bit different is there's actually a tact that's actually applied to the straw itself. So what happens is when you sprinkle it and you spread it and then it gets wet, it actually sticks together. And so not only does that kind of create a better barrier of protection for the seed, but it also means it's not as likely to blow around. And I'm sure if you've ever used regular straw, that can absolutely be an issue. So the tact is obviously going to help it stick together. Easy straw is what I used on my yard last year, and I absolutely love it. I'm never gonna go back to leaf grow or any other type of traditional straw because, again, it worked so well, and frankly, my yard looks great. You can find easy straw over at rosensonline.com. Comes in bales. Those bales cover about 500 square feet. So again, you might need to put down a lot, but trust me when I say it is absolutely worth it. Now, once you do cover and effectively cover all of that seed with easy straw, you gotta water it, and you need to really, really water it well. First of all, you wanna make sure that that seed gets the moisture that it needs to start to germinate and really begin to grow. In addition, by watering it really well, you're gonna help that easy straw that you just put down stick together and kind of create that protective barrier. Now folks, I cannot stress this enough. You need to water your lawn at least once a day for the first 2 to 3 weeks. That's a tall order, I understand, and obviously if it rains really well, you don't need to water that day, but you gotta keep that seed moist, and that's frankly another benefit to the easy straw is that it does retain moisture, really, really well. So by soaking it once really, really well every single day for the first 2 or 3 weeks, you're gonna be really positioning yourself in the best way for that seed to grow well, to grow effectively, and not dry out. All right, so just a couple final thoughts. Folks, obviously we've gone through that 5-step process for overseeding. And once you've done that, there's a real critical step that you guys probably guess is coming, but you need to start putting down kickstart on your grass to help it get established. And obviously, once it starts to sprout and you actually start to see green, that kickstart is really going to help that root structure. So it's not part of the overseeding process per se, but it is a step that we absolutely recommend. So again, let's run through those 5 steps real quick. You're gonna wanna kill the weeds. You wanna put down some type of a topsoil, or again, you can do core aeration or you can do dethatching. Then you want to put down the seed, then you want to put down turf truss, then you want to cover with easy straw, and you want to water it really well. Well, again, once you start to see a little bit of green, get down kickstart. I would put it down at least once a week for the first 4 to 6 weeks, again, because we really, really want to help that root system get established. And once it is established and it is really strong, it's going to be soaking up that turf truss that we put down in step number 4. And what's going to happen is, you know, come spring, you are going to have the best looking lawn on the block. Now guys, I want to reiterate this one more time. The fall feeding frenzy is going on over at rosensonline.com. Again, that is 3 bags of the starter or the maintenance available in the 5M or the 10M. It's at a special price. You get free shipping. And I don't want to remind you, but I'm going to. You have 2 feedings in the fall that you need to do. One is coming up in a couple of weeks around Labor Day. And again, a 4th and final one is going to occur in that mid-November time frame. So again, head over to rosensonline.com and pick up the fall feeding frenzy. Go ahead and use that for the overseeding, but if you're not overseeding, again, you need those final 2 feedings anyway. Folks, thanks so much for spending time with us. We know you're gonna have questions, stuff's gonna arise when it comes to overseeding. You're gonna run into some issues that maybe I haven't addressed here. So if that happens, please send me an email to tim@rosensonline.com. I'd be happy to answer any and all questions that come my way. As always, folks, we just love the fact that you spend so much time with us. So we hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. Good luck with that overseeding, and God bless.